What is that? What is that?
Trunks!
What is that?
Prepare yourself, Dan Saiyan.
What is up, guys? BlackScape here, and today I have another review reaction for you guys, and this one is to a video that I literally just got recommended to today. I posted this on Twitter because I was thinking, you know, Goku Black, my biggest wish for that character had been that he was Goten. I wanted him to be Goten. I had theorized that he was going to be Goten. I wanted Goten. That's not how it worked out. Oh well. But when I posted this on Twitter, somebody recommended this what if video. So I'm going to go ahead and review it for you guys. What if Goten was Goku Black? This is by Warpstar. I'm going to leave a link to his channel in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump in. Oh, and make sure to hit that like button like Vegeta hits the punching machine. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 likes in this video, and I'll drop the next one.
The earth was in ruins.
The only sounds were the heavy winds moving through the empty ruins. Suddenly, however, cutting through the odd quiet is a twin pair of footsteps. Through the darkness, the heroes of the future, Trunks and Mai, make their way through broken homes in search of the time machine. As they approach their goal, however, the sky opens up, and the mysterious figure the two of them are hiding from makes his presence known. It was at this moment in the Goku Black saga back in 2016 that the entire internet was ripe with theories and speculation.
2016, oh my god, has it really been that long? The reason that it means so much to me is because 2016, Goku Black, it was right after, or right in the middle of the Goku Black saga. I think we had just gotten Rose, that I decided to make this channel because Goku Black was such an interesting character to me. It brought back that same level of excitement, mystery that I loved in one of my favorite sagas, which was the Cell Saga. And I'll be honest, not only the Cell Saga had all this mystery to it, but so did the Buu Saga. Buu Saga, we were trying to figure out who Bibbidi was, Bobbidi, trying to figure out who the real Majin Buu was, where his egg was, all that stuff. So it just reminded me of the best parts of Dragon Ball that I really loved, and that's why I created this channel, because I loved Goku Black at the time. I still do, one of my favorite characters of all time. And although I would finish that arc a little bit differently, I still think that it's one of the best arcs in Dragon Ball's history.
So obviously he had Goku's face, but was it actually Goku? So the theories kind of became like a dime a dozen. It's a Goku who never hit his head, was one of the more popular theories. However, a theory that only grew more popular until Goku Black revealed his identity was this. Goten. Goku Black was supposed to be Goten.
Goten.
A simple, pure-hearted Goten traveled through Trunks' timeline, destroyed the entire planet.
This is the one that I really wanted to happen. I mean, all those other theories, I'm telling you, it was blowing up, and that's kind of what is so exciting about Dragon Ball Super, was this Goku Black arc. This is where the hype for the Dragon Ball series, I felt like, really went into overdrive, where we're just so excited to see the angels, the gods, we got more lore on the Supreme Kais, on what Kaioshin are. We got so much in that Goku Black arc that it just felt like something that it was so different than what had come before. It was a completely different level. But yeah, Goten was the one that we all thought was gonna be Goku Black. And I mean, yeah, pure-hearted Goten, all that stuff, but it was more the case that something tragic or traumatic, something horrible happened to him where he ended up being alone. And similar to how Trunks and Gohan are a little bit harder because of their future, this is a Goten that became really, really hard, to the point where he was essentially evil, in a sense. That's kind of what I was thinking when I was watching this, when I was theorizing about Goku Black.
Bulma. In front of Trunks, by the way. Okay. Sure, alright. Whatever. I swear to God, Dragon Ball fans only want two things. Raditz to be good, and Goku to be evil.
These two right here are literally what Dragon Ball fans feast over. These type of videos, comics, manga, animations, do numbers when it comes to viewership and people engaging in them. And I think it's not a coincidence that they're related, that it's brother against brother. and that you're wanting to think like, what if Raditz became Goku similarly, or stayed on Earth and found a family? What would he be if he lasted this long in Dragon Ball? Vice versa. What would Goku be if he became evil? If he became what basically he was intended to be? It's crazy, but he's absolutely right on this.
Tale of a kind of a joke, right? View.
He looks and fights like Goku, so we started calling him Goku Black. I struggled against him for a year after he showed up, but at that point there was hardly anybody left on Earth. Mom made enough fuel for a time machine for one last jump, but then...
So you would rather have fled to the past rather than stay and fight?
That's not true.
This is where Bulma interferes, chastising Vegeta and informing the group of her future self's notes that she found. The idea was merely to send Trunks back to get help.
This is all more or less what happens in the original story.
Beerus, for a brief moment, seems well intent on destroying future Trunks in his time machine. The poor Saiyan is once again saved by Bulma, who appeases Lord Beerus with a delicious helping of fish sausage.
Yep, that's
Upon
exactly what
Beerus
happens.
demands for more, she quickly instructs the Pilaf gang to go and lead Beerus to her supply.
Regardless, how strong is this Kakarot?
Kakarot Black. I don't think I have not seen the English version of the Goku Black arc, and I'm actually starting to rewatch Dragon Ball Super in English because I've only seen it in Japanese. But if at some point Vegeta says Kakarot Black, that shit is fucking awesome. Kakarot Black sounds so much cooler than Goku Black.
Incredibly strong, father. Even with Super Saiyan 2,
Show me what you've accomplished in the future.
Flying in midair, Vegeta and Trunks stand across from one another. Vegeta is confident in his ability to win, but for the time being, he only wants to see how...
Dude, I absolutely love this fight. When it happened in Super, I was just so into it, and the fact that Trunks uses just subterfuge, he uses basically trying to goad Vegeta to jump in and attack him by using an inferior transformation, is just pure gold. And it makes sense because all he's got to do is land a punch on him. At least that was the bet, and he almost got him.
Trunks has come without him. Trunks, not missing a beat, powers up to Super Saiyan 2.
As you said, you discovered a way to surpass Super Saiyan. Very well then.
Vegeta decided to do the same, and skips right over Super Saiyan, matching Trunks by powering immediately into 2. Before any damage to West City could arise, Bulma deploys an energy shield over the duo. Trunks and Vegeta meet in a mid-air clash, with Trunks being the aggressor, with a flurry of kicks and punches. Vegeta deflected where he could, breaking the brief clash by throwing out a rapid kick into Trunks' gut, throwing his son backward in mid-air. Trunks' fighting style was reminiscent of the world he had grown up in. In the future, with no Dragon Balls or fellow Z warriors at his side, Trunks had to risk it all. Vegeta, in the meantime, had been living with the opportunity to train peacefully, even among the gods themselves. With Vegeta the more calm between them, it was easy to gather who was superior.
Tell me, Trunks.
That's interesting. I never thought of it that way, that Trunks' fighting style is based on survival, although it makes a tremendous amount of sense. I just never thought that like the difference between what future Trunks is going with and what everybody else is. In any confrontation, even with say future Gohan against a Z fighter that's in our timeline, you have to take that into account, that he's only fighting to survive. He's fighting and going for the kill all the time. That's what Trunks is doing. I believe that's what Trunks did when he first met with Goku, when he attacked him with the sword. And Goku even felt like, I don't know, your feelings a little bit mixed, but I mean, he came at him with a sword that not only cut up Frieza, but also was something that even King Cold was like trying to take away from him, because he knew that if he could get him off his guard, he could actually, you know, hopefully kill him. So yeah, you got to take that into account. That makes a lot of sense.
This Kakarot Black, that powerful?
he didn't even need Super Saiyan to stop me.
Then, is it possible his power is now even among the gods?
Among the gods? What do you mean?
This timeline has grown far beyond what you might have even thought imaginable.
Without another word, Vegeta powers down from Super Saiyan. Trunks realized he couldn't sense his energy anymore, and yet Vegeta's confidence didn't seem to waver. They dove towards each other, Trunks opting to draw his blade this time. The clash ruptured the force field. Vegeta had caught the entire blade in a fist, though his appearance looked as though he hadn't moved out of a base form. Trunks was awe-inspired, and was brought back into reality when Vegeta sent him spiraling into the dirt with a punch from his free hand.
Vegeta's basically doing the exact same thing that Goku Black is doing, which is fighting in his base.
You may have beaten Dabra and Babidi, but we've long
What?
gone past that. You never encountered Lord Beerus in the future?
No, never. Father, what was that? I couldn't sense your energy anymore.
You'll see in your own time. I want to learn about this Kakarot.
I do gotta say that I love. I've seen a few of these videos now, just trying to see what you guys, and also let me know in the comment section below what other recommendations for videos that I can react to that are similar to this, stories that people are making online. Doesn't have to be animation, doesn't have to be manga, similar to this. But I've been watching a few of them just to kind of gauge which ones I'm interested in. But this is the first one that I've seen where it's almost like a Game Boy, or even just like cutscenes between, like in the video games where like before they get into the theatrical cutscene, you get into like this where they're talking back and forth to each other. I actually like it. I think it's really dope. Probably a lot of work went into this. Like, no, not probably. 100% a lot of work went into this.
Goku, impressed at the display of fighting, decides to chime in.
Hey, yeah! He looks and fights just like me?
That's right. But there's no way that he could be you. He's malicious, smug, and he was so hell-bent on destroying me and the planet one by one. And his energy is nothing like yours.
Very well then. If your future mother sent you back for help, then I'll just have to meet the challenge.
Trunks was amazed at how far the timeline had grown, and was more than eager to learn what his predecessors had learned. Vegeta offered a hand to Trunks and helped him up. As the dust settled, however, the skies began to darken. The group got into another defensive stance and looked towards the sky. From the spot where Trunks had arrived, through the time machine, a rift had opened, crackling with a dark and unreadable energy.
Just so cool.
From
Such a
that
cool
void,
moment.
a figure emerged. True to Trunks' word, his identity was almost exactly like that of Goku's, only this one wore a smirk of contempt.
So this is where you've been hiding, huh?
Trunks goes to draw his sword yet again and charge the threat, but Vegeta stopped him, because Goku had already beat him to it.
So, you're the one they call Goku Black. I heard you're pretty strong.
Goku Black tilted his head, looked almost confused for a moment, but then refocused with an amused smile. Goku felt it too. It was wrong to call him Goku Black. Something about him was so familiar. Despite Saiyan aging being incredibly slow, the doppelganger was, well, Son Goku's junior. Goku would have blurted it out himself if Goku Black didn't respond faster.
You are mistaken.
I actually didn't even notice that. And like this picture, you found a really good picture right here.
Saiyan aging being incredibly slow.
This picture right here he looks intense. This is obviously Shintani style of the Goku Black, but it just makes him look so much younger than this. This actually also looks Shintani, but for some reason the less detail, I don't know. This one looks really, really good, and like the artwork looks really good, but he definitely looks a lot younger than Goku. So I like that Goku Black is confused, like Goku Black.
Doppelganger was, well, Son Goku's junior. Goku would have blurted it out himself if Goku Black didn't respond faster.
You are mistaken, Son Goku. Really, Trunks, Goku Black. Well, I suppose that is quite understandable, but Son Goku, do you not recognize me? I am quite hurt. I am your son, after all. I am Son Goten.
Future Trunks didn't know who Son Goten was, but made the instant assumption that he had some sort of relation to Goku. The air was tense enough that Trunks' sword could have sliced it to ribbons. Then Goku spoke.
If you're Goten, why are you talking like that?
You What?
And what's this about you destroying the future? The Goten I know wouldn't do anything like that.
He's like, why do you have an accent? That's Goku asking the real questions. He's also like, he doesn't think that Goten would do anything like this. But if this was the reality, if Goku Black was Goten Black, and this is where he came out, I feel like the stakes would be so high, and the mystery would be so high, because now you know who he is, but you're like, what made him go this way? And then I would have loved to see an entire episode dedicated to seeing his backstory. That would have been really cool. And like why he hates everybody. Like what is this revenge that because Goten has, even though he's happy-go-lucky, there's so many different avenues of revenge and reasons for revenge for this character. Like Goku wasn't there for his childhood, always running off on him, never being there for the family, at least not in his time. He was there for Gohan more, in my opinion. And then at the same time, you have Goten being, just wholly into these events that are so traumatic. So many different things happen in Goten's timeline. Just the normal one, really. So many different villains. Anything could have turned this guy bad. How would he react if Chi-Chi had been killed? Or Chi-Chi had been destroyed right in front of him? What if it was, Bulma's fault? Like in the last video that we're watching where it is kind of Bulma's fault. I don't know.
Definitely him. You've got his energy. But something's really got you all messed up, son.
That was just necessary justice being handed out. You don't have to fight. I am only here for Trunks after all. But if you so desired, then sure. I'll take the challenge.
Goten or not, you've done some pretty messed up things, and I'm not gonna let you keep it up, son.
I do like that he's not there for Goku. He's not there just to destroy. He wants to go after Trunks. That's very true to even the anime, where he's just kind of hyper-focused on Trunks, and not anybody else.
The battle began not long after. Goku charged forward, but quickly found his initiative.
Actually, I just thought of something, guys. It is so heavy, such a heavy notion, such a heavy theme, because, yeah, it looks a little bit weird because it is Goku Black. We know it's Goku Black, we know it's Goku, but if it's Goten and it's Trunks, they have a completely adversarial, almost like death battle type of relationship, and it is like almost completely different. It is completely different than the Goten and Trunks that we have in this timeline where they are best friends, and these two are not. They had so much to work with in this. It would have been so much cooler if he was Goten.
Goten grabbed Goku's fist, twisting it back before sending him skyward with an upward kick. In the upper hemisphere, Goku powered himself up to Super Saiyan and shot down to battle the time-traveling doppelganger once more. Without powering up to Super Saiyan, Goten met Goku's strike with his own, and took some of the Saiyan's more serious attacks with minimal ease. As Goten Black powered up, Goku became visibly confused for just a moment. Refocusing on the battle, he briefly had time to raise his arms and defend against an explosion of ki that Goten released from his body. Down on the ground, the group of bystanders were watching sternly, wondering if Goku had this. They were joined shortly after by Beerus and Whis.
Who's Goku fighting now? I'm trying to enjoy my snack.
Oh my. It seems the doppelganger that the future Trunks spoke of arrived.
We couldn't possibly have been gone that long.
Back in the air, Goku was finally beginning to make headway against his weird, evil son, after nearly frying him with a quickly employed instant transmission Kamehameha. No more words to exchange, they clash again. Goku felt odd about the energy he was sensing, and he was trying to put a finger on it, but the fight was getting much too intense. While Goku fought to test the waters against his new opponent, Goten's manner of fighting was more fluid somehow. He fought like he had done this before. This confidence in his overall moveset and abilities made him open to slipping up, which was an advantage that Goku exploited immediately, landing a jab to the face, followed by an axe handle kick back down out of the upper atmosphere. Goten caught himself before he hit the ground, in definite view of the group below. He growled a bit. Trunks and Vegeta looked on in shock. While he couldn't feel the exuding God Ki, Vegeta could, and he was underwhelmed. Goku charged down to meet his opponent head-on, and then stopped too when he felt the application of God Ki.
You're much stronger than you should be. No matter, I'm only getting started.
That was when the Saiyan took note of the bystanders their fight had accumulated. A look of confusion and slight fear passed across Goten Black's face as he realized he was being watched by both the God of Destruction and his attendant.
Why are they here? They really have befriended the mortals.
Goten Black held his hand forward and let his will over the time ring force it to transport him. He gave Trunks a death stare before he disappeared back through the rift he had created completely. Beerus and Whis looked stoic as they noted his time ring and particular earring. The threat was gone, and Goku looked disappointed. On one hand, he didn't get to finish the fight, and on the other, his son from another world was the one responsible for the devastation of Trunks'
Yeah,
world.
I would see Goku like having
Goku,
some internal
that's-
battles, and maybe even being reflective on himself, where what happened, why is he like this, and where am I in that equation? He's my son. There's got to be a version of me somewhere out there. What happened to me? It's so much deeper if it's Goten, in my opinion. It's just so much better.
Your son?
It's not what you think, boy. From what I can gather, the other boy is like you.
Yeah, our Goten isn't like that at all.
It was at this moment that Beerus intervened.
Why is it that whenever anything happens to my universe, it's always this planet at the center of it all?
I don't know, Beerus. That's a good
Regardless,
question.
It seems we have less to worry about than we might have thought.
What do you mean?
He's got plenty of muscle for a mortal, but his attempt at a trump card was pathetic at best.
You felt it too? It felt like he barely had any control over his godly ki.
Which means stopping him in the future will be unbearably easy.
That might be, but I say hell no.
Lord Beerus? Why?
Yeah, come on! Trunks needs our help, and that's... my son!
And the two of you forget that the King of All has his eyes on both of you. Letting you go would be one of the worst decisions I could make.
Lord Beerus is correct. Letting you travel to the future would be a poor decision, given the circumstances.
Vegeta looked stoic, but those who knew them would easily realize he was furious on the inside. Regardless, he was making plans, internally. Goku, on the other hand, looked more outwardly upset, and looked back at Trunks apologetically. Trunks, in the meantime, appeared the most outwardly hopeless. He had come back to the past for help, and yet here he is not allowed to receive any. Beerus, seeming satisfied that he had gotten through to them, continued.
Now, there's more to attend to. For example, Whis, you saw it, didn't you?
Indeed I did, my lord. Goku's son had both a Patara earring and a time ring.
I'm well aware of the Patara, but I've never heard of the time ring.
Whis explains the nature of the time ring, stating that it must be the reason for Goten Black arriving in this timeline and in Trunks' timeline.
But I thought only the Kais had stuff like that. Why would Goten be walking around with them?
Good question.
That's what I would
Good
like
question,
to know.
Goku.
Which brings me to my last order of business. I want you, Trunks, and your time machine out of this timeline immediately.
I only had the fuel for the one trip here.
That's where I come in. I'm sure I can create more fuel, but I'm not sure how long it'll take.
Since I'm feeling
you got voice actors for
I will
everybody.
leave it there.
I would say that the Trunks voice actor, the mic is a little bit too loud compared to everybody else, but everybody seems to be spot on. That's something that I really noticed, and the Bulma one actually took me like, yeah, she definitely sounds just like Bulma. So a lot of work went into this video, and so far the only thing that's different really is a little bit more diving into like the different assets of them, like different fighting styles, things like that, and the fact that Goku Black said he's Goten. Besides that, this is basically what happened in the anime.
As soon as this woman can make more fuel, I want you out of this timeline. In the meantime, you can work on your own strength for when you go back to where you come from. I'm going to visit the Supreme Kai, and Goku, you're coming with me.
This is gonna be it. How is he
What?
gonna fit
Why
in the
me?
Supreme Kai with
If
Goten?
this
That's what
time-traveling
I'm really
nuisance
interested in.
is your son, I want your input on this. And I'm not going to turn my back and let you go running off into the future. Now let's go.
Smart. Smart.
With that, Whis, Beerus, and Goku take their leave. Bulma pats Trunks on the shoulder comfortingly, setting off to get started on getting his time machine up and running. As Trunks sat in silence, confused and worried, Vegeta stepped closer to him imposingly.
Trunks, I can't come with you back to the future. But I'm not about to let you run off in the state you're in. You and I are going back to the time chamber.
Always the time chamber.
Oh,
I can't
yeah.
get away from it.
The time
Always the
chamber.
time chamber.
Oh no, you don't.
Trunks and Vegeta popped to attention immediately, even though Bulma was over 15 yards away.
Trunks just got back from a world of hurt. You can train all you want, but you need to give him some time to rest first. Saiyans. All you ever think about is fighting.
And with that, the future Trunks is given a chance to explore the timeline he had saved. Having sensed the fighting, Piccolo and Krillin arrived and greeted Trunks happily. Trunks was overwhelmed to see the friends he had made again, and learn about what they had been up to in the time he'd been away. It was Krillin who decided to fill him in on what happened after the Cell Games. After having heard the news of...
Hey, Trunks. Guess who's my wife? Guess who I picked up from the Cell Games? It's always so funny to see that video. If you guys haven't seen that video, or I mean, you probably have because you've seen Dragon Ball Super, but go rewatch it again. Where 18 sees Trunks. That's one that I've seen in English and in Japanese, and it's so funny. Trunks' reaction every single time, it gets me.
Trunks' return.
Let's see what
however,
happens.
Many of the fellow Z warriors had returned to greet him. So the warrior was sensing ki signatures he never even thought he would feel again. Ken Shinhan, Yamcha, even Hercule was still around. One of the most surprising faces among them was Majin Buu. Trunks had never actually seen the pink monster in person. Needless to say, he was surprised. Not a surprise, however, as when he turned around to find himself face to face with an old enemy, Android 18. Instinctively, Trunks lashes out and reaches for his sword. The entire welcoming party went dead silent, caught off guard by the sudden turn of events. The blonde-haired girl released the hand of a young girl that she was standing next to, and calmly moved the girl behind her leg. Android 18 steps closer, stone-faced, and then she puts her fist out. With assurance from the partygoers and Krillin, Trunks realizes that this version of 18 wasn't his enemy anymore. Krillin really went as far as to tie the knot with her? With a nervous laugh, he reached his fist
That's
out
what they
to
call it
Goku.
nowadays.
The mood quickly returned to joyous before a late attendee finally arrives.
Trunks!
What is that?
Trunks almost...
What is that?
Trunks!
What is that? You must have gotten these custom made because a lot of these I've never seen before. Very Shintani style, like just them, almost like cardboard cutouts, kind of. But this is definitely purposely made for this video. I've never seen this version of Gohan with this outfit, with that haircut. Looks exactly like from the Cell Games, right before the Cell Games. Never seen this before. What is going on here?
Taken aback a bit, Trunks almost didn't recognize who he was talking to, but the energy signature gave it away pretty much immediately. He was a lot taller now, with really long hair. It was quite literally a sight to behold. This Gohan would have been just as old as the future Gohan.
Gohan! I can't believe it's you! You, grow your hair again.
Yeah, I guess I have.
He looks good
Between
like
training
that.
with Piccolo
I'm not
and my
gonna lie.
job,
He
I
looks good like
just
that.
haven't had a lot of time to get it cut. But enough about me, how are you? What brought you back to our timeline?
It's, a bit of a long story.
Well, why don't you tell me while we walk? My house isn't too far away, and I'd love it if you got to meet my family.
A family?
Trunks was once again caught off guard. When Gohan went Super Saiyan 2 before, it was so unruly and wild. Raw energy barely contained in a human form. But compared to that time he'd seen him last, Gohan's power had grown exponentially. Now it was refined, controlled, and even then still overwhelming.
You coming, Trunks?
Oh, right.
No time to think. Trunks moved after Gohan soon after. Gohan's house was certainly no capsule core, but Trunks was pleased to see Gohan was living so comfortably.
No capsule. It's a
As they wrapped
freaking
the door,
castle.
Gohan began to fumble
Looks like a
for his-
castle.
Hey, I think I left my keys in the house. Could you knock for me real quick?
Trunks taps the door a few times. Afterward, the door swings open to reveal the present Trunks, standing there with his arms folded, trying to look far more...
So, okay, that's
mature
another
than
change. Trunks wasn't there. Little Trunks
hey
was not
there,
there to see
Trunks.
this.
What are you doing here?
Babysitting.
Babysitting?
That is a
I
good
thought
Trunks.
Miguel was home.
That
Wasn't
is
this
a
supposed
good
to be a
voice actor
play date?
for little Trunks.
Ugh. Whatever. Are you coming in or what?
The two half Saiyans enter, with the
That's
present Trunks rushing off
perfect. That even sounds like the original voice actor. That's perfect.
the Pilaf gang and Goten. Trunks laughs awkwardly, and upon entering the living room, is greeted by Videl, who wrestles Pan away from the other kids.
Trunks, this is my wife, Videl. Videl, this is Trunks. He's the same as that Trunks, but from the future. He came back to help us fight the androids a long time ago.
The baby Pan in her arms had been transfixed on the lavender-haired warrior, and sensing an opportunity, she lashes out, snagging the locks in her
Forgot
bare
that
hands and
happened.
laughing. The trio of adults took a seat at the table. Gohan fetched them all something to drink, and with that, Trunks explained what had happened in his future, before informing them of the identity of his attacker. Gohan nearly chokes.
What? Goten?
Huh? Do you need something, big bro?
No, it's nothing. Go ahead and keep on playing.
I'm not in trouble, am I?
Not yet, you aren't.
Head
Just
for that.
just one slice. He's getting those itchy fingers. He wants to reach for that sword. Take it out in the butt. But you can't do that. That's like Dr. Gero logic right there. Killing him before he's even done anything.
Our Goten wouldn't do that. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Trunks looks back towards the group. Sure enough, the Goten and Trunks in this timeline were getting along quite swimmingly. They were on the same team in a kart racing game, and decimating the Pilaf gang. Trunks, feeling a little bad for getting them on this topic, decides to change the subject.
So, you're a scholar now. The Gohan from my timeline also talked about wanting to be one, so it's great to see you pursued it. But you mentioned training a bit with Piccolo too, right?
Hey, yeah, when Frieza came back to life.
Again?
Yeah, I couldn't do anything about it. I came to realize that even if I'm not pursuing absolute strength, I need to at least be strong enough to protect those dear to me. If
How does
everything fails,
and then he forgets this in Dragon Ball Super Superhero. That movie's all about stop fucking around. Like, stop losing yourself. Like, why would you do this, Gohan? You're always doing this, and now you're at least in this, he's actually training. And he trained in Super for the Tournament of Power, but then again, he forgets it going into Superhero. Like, inconsistent, man.
and I'm gonna need to step up and do what I have to do. You can understand that too, right, Trunks?
Gohan's resolve is clear as day. Trunks wasn't entirely sure what to say next, but he smiled.
I do. I understand completely.
In the meantime, the present Trunks was feeling a little miffed.
I don't get it.
You mean you don't get you?
No. This guy just shows up and he's so cool. My dad even said he's gonna take him into the time chamber.
Well, that's kind of lame, but you said he was gonna be going soon, right? Can we just
Even
go play
Goten
now?
sounds
But
just
Trunks
like
ignores
that's
Goten's complaint.
just sounds
Instead, he's
identical.
formulating
Bravo, this is good. This is good voice acting.
Ah! Goten, I've got an idea. Let's show him how cool we can be.
Goten very obviously didn't really want to go along with it, but he got his friend's meaning. The two approached the table of adults.
Hey, future me!
Huh? Hey, what's up?
I bet you can't do this.
Standing spaced apart, the two teenagers begin an awkward but well-coordinated
Fusion.
and familiar dance.
Fusion! Ha!
Oh boy.
Goten, Trunks, makes Gotenks! And we're gonna show you just how cool we can be. So tell me, future Trunks, can you do this?
The
Moving
proper
quickly outside,
application.
Gotenks-
This is the proper application for Gotenks. It is perfect. This is the only, like, the premise of this Trunks being cooler, him going into the time chamber with Vegeta, and little Trunks being, like, a little bit miffed by that, a little bit, you know, feeling, like, spurned by that, wanting to show that he's also cool, and something that this Trunks has no idea even exists. He's gonna use Fusion. Perfect application. You guys know how I feel about Gotenks. This is the perfect application of Gotenks.
with Gohan joining them just a moment later.
I bet you can't fuse like we can. Which means, I bet you can't do this either. Galactic Donut!
What the?
Gotenks then spent the next hour demonstrating to future Trunks the peak of his power and movesets. and even after defusing, the two bore witness to some of Trunks' moves he had picked up in the future. By the end of it, present Trunks had a deeper respect for his future counterpart.
That's awesome.
It helped smooth
That's so
his
awesome.
ego out knowing there were things that he could do that his future self couldn't. As the sun begins to set, however, Goten and Trunks get to go home. The future Trunks was about to return.
I feel like I'm watching like a whole alternate
still
episode
bugging him.
of what ended up happening. It's very similar, but not
My father
100%.
and yours said they could easily stop Goten in the future. But Lord Beerus said they weren't allowed to go. Father's going to try to train me as best he can over the next year. But I don't know if that'll be good enough. He's unpredictable, and a dangerous opponent. If I fail, then everything I fought for, the world I've tried to rebuild will.
Gohan puts a hand on Trunks' shoulder.
Listen, Trunks. You're strong. A hero even. But even so, if there's anything I can do to help you, then please, don't hesitate to ask.
Trunks is filled with nostalgia for a different time. No matter the timeline, Gohan was something else. They spoke a bit more, Gohan's courage giving the future Saiyan hope, before Trunks returned for much needed rest. At the crack of dawn the next morning, however, Vegeta wakes him. Without much more words, the two traveled to the lookout. Dende greeted them warmly, wished them good luck, and with that, the two entered for a day of intense training.
After Majin Buu, we thought we were safe. We were wrong. Lord Beerus arrived on a whim, searching for a battle with a Saiyan legend.
Oh, he's gonna teach
The
us Super
Super
Saiyan God.
No. Lord Beerus was searching for the Super Saiyan God.
God.
Kakarot stepped up. 5 pure-hearted Saiyans lent their energy to him, and he became the Super Saiyan God of Legend, and yet again saved us all.
So what are you telling me?
I too have learned this power through my own training with Whis. I can't go back to the future with you, so this is all I can do. I'm not Whis, but over the next year I'll do what I can to teach you the legend of Super Saiyan God. Prepare yourself.
In the future,
That's
however,
awesome.
Goten
I
Black
like
had
that
returned
that they're not fighting his battles for him. He has to do this on his own. I loved it. I love that. I love this change.
where he had first left. He glanced around, checking to see if he was alone, and then he sighed.
So he successfully fled to the source of it all. And not only are Goku and Vegeta far more powerful than they should be, but the god of destruction is on their side too. If he makes it back, I might be in trouble. Oh, perhaps I should get help then. I can't be too careful. Not when I'm so close.
So close to
Mark
what?
my words, Trunks. Your crimes against me will not go unpunished.
Goten levitates up into the air and zooms off into the distance, vaporizing a mountain for good measure. The tremors and explosion rang loud across the land, and in the rubble of Capsule Corp, the future Mai stirred in her unconscious state.
Ooh.
Back in
She's
the
probably not
present,
doing so well.
5 months had passed in the time chamber.
Focus. Close your eyes if you must. Breathe. Block out any idle thoughts you may have. Think only of what you need to do. Any fraction of ki slips out, and it's over. You won't even enter the blasted form.
His words were encouraging, but still harsh.
You're not focused, are you? You can't even do that! God, how tragic. Now you've elected not to answer me? The audacity! How do you expect to get stronger if you can't even follow simple instructions?
If you would let me concentrate.
And you think your enemy will?
Trunks very clearly understands his father's intention, but he was still incredibly frustrated.
I get it. It's just that we've been here for 5 months already. Now no closer to getting as strong as I have to be to save everyone. Who's to say I'll ever be strong enough?
You're my son, boy. Don't forget what you've toiled for in the years you've been away. You are Saiyan royalty. It's in your nature to shatter your limits.
He was taken aback by the almost affectionate words from his father. It certainly wasn't like this the last time they had been
You've changed a lot,
That's
Father.
funny.
Is that so?
Trunks lets out a well-meaning laugh, finding the brief lack of composure funny in its own certain way. Then Vegeta speaks again.
In these past few years, I've come to realize why no matter how many times I struggled and shattered my body, Kakarot continued to surpass me. It was not because of my own inability, but something else, Trunks. True power.
And with that, we fade. A whole day has passed, 1 whole year in the time chamber. At Capsule Corp, Bulma, in 1 day, had produced a fresh batch of fuel for the time machine. She was a little upset, though, understandably. She really wanted to spend more time with her future son, especially after everything he had gone through.
I know, he lost Bulma
Instead,
too.
that no-good lazy cat had thrown a massive wrench in her plans. Now here she was working diligently just to send her son back after everything he'd endured. And he couldn't bring Goku or Vegeta. Bulma thinks.
Think, Bulma, think.
There had to be a way to help Trunks. Beerus had explicitly banned Goku and Vegeta from traveling to the future. But
You're a genius.
Bulma makes a phone call. It was going to be a tough sell, but she was certain the plan she had was genius. A couple of hours passed, and Vegeta and Trunks returned. It was unfortunate that their time was so short, but the time machine was more than ready for another trip. She explained her plan to the duo. Vegeta seemed to be satisfied with it. Trunks was noticeably worried, but he still agrees.
I'll be sure to let you all know how it goes. And Father, I may not have...
I'm only a student of Whis myself. You may not have grasped it in its entirety, but you know what you have to do. Just remember what I taught you. Remember what you've toiled for.
I will.
Who are they
And
sending?
be safe. You've got this. Here, and take these. Goku left them when he was here last. I'm sure he won't mind.
Bulma hands him a bag of senzu beans
Senzu
that
bean,
Goku had
yeah.
left, and gave him a hug. Trunks was nervous, but filled with resolve. Beerus definitely wouldn't like the plan, but he was grateful to his mother for putting in the request for him. With that, they disappear from the present, and return to the future.
But who?
It was
What did he
as
take? Just the
desolate and
senzu beans or
depressing as
what?
Trunks had remembered. But he looked at it with new hope.
Hmm.
He was a lot stronger now, far more than when he had left.
So, this is it. This is my home. This is what he did to it. There's so few of us left, but I know if we work together, we can save it. I didn't know you would do this, but thank you for coming with me, Gohan.
Okay, alright. So Gohan goes, but Gohan at this time has only access to Mystic, which isn't even close to even what Trunks is trying to go for, which is Super Saiyan God, I'm assuming is what he's eventually going to become. I like that Gohan looks like this. I like his outfit. It's the Saiyaman thing. I guess he's the hero of his own story. He even has like the Bardock sash, longer hair, things like that. The only way this works to me with him being a plausible backup is if he becomes Beast Gohan. That is the only way that this actually works. I'm not entirely sure if that's how the direction they're going to go. But yeah, it was great. Loved it. Can't wait to see the next episode. Make sure you go ahead and check it out in the description below, guys. I'm going to leave the link to this video. Make sure you always support the original artist. This is going to be BlackScape. Signing off. Take care, guys.
Subscribe for more content.